Welcome to the next video in our series for the LMS King component. In this video we're going to show you how to use the creation wizard. A creation wizard can get you up and started in less than 5 minutes. So let's go to the Start tab and then go to Open or Create. Selecting the creation wizard option. Okay, here we have the option on step 1 to create a new certification path or add a course to an existing certification path. So we're going to create a new certification path called Test CP. Okay, and we're going to add the description. Okay, the next step, the start and end dates for the certification path. Now, when you set the start date, for testing purposes, you should always set yesterday's date. This is based on the server time. The reason for doing this is because your server may be in a different time zone. And for the end publishing date, we're going to set a couple of days in the future so that it's not visible after that date, so no one can choose it. Here you can set the cost of the certification pass for when people want to buy it or buy access to the course. We don't have any certificates set up right now, but here you can select the certificate and you can select the validity of the certificate, which means that if you have a certificate that has a validity period of 1 month, then after 1 month time the user may come back to your site and purchase access to do the certification again. And we're going to set this as published. And we head to the next step. Now we can add to an existing course or create a new course. We're going to create a new course. Okay, a course contains lessons. Lessons contain questions. So let's select a category. We've already got a category here, but if you haven't got any categories in the system, you can click on the Add Categories, Course Categories option and add your own category dynamically. So let's take the default one here, and this is the certificate for the course. This information here, hours, country, state, these are all just informational so that you can show them to the user when the user is doing the course. Here you can set prerequisites. These are other courses that are currently in the system. If I set a course here as a prerequisite, the user will not be able to start this course until the prerequisite course has been completed. If you select more than one, then you can select here in the one or all selector how many of the selected prerequisites the user must complete. Now we're creating the lesson which can contain the questions. Lesson 1. These are the lesson description. Now the important step here is the lesson type. We have the exam, which has no feedback for the users. We have the quiz. The quiz has feedback after each question and at the end of the quiz itself. The quiz feedback is used to help users evaluate why they got it wrong and to help them figure out how to get it right the next time they take the quiz. We have survey, which is basically a survey asking questions and giving feedback at the end of it if required, or just a collection for the report. Presentation, these are text-only type questions for presenting information to users. In here you can add videos, you can add images, text, basically whatever you like, except questions. And SCORM, this is for SCORM modules. Okay, so we're going to use exam for the moment. We're going to select the category that's already in the system and no prerequisites. Here you must select the teacher and you must select the assistant that are assigned to this lesson, and you can also select students that will automatically enroll students in the system. When the lesson is complete, you can prompt the user for feedback, meaning did they like the course, is there something they would like to improve, or a survey form. You do that using the feedback system. The feedback system is one of our extra components. Now we're going to the configure page. The configure page defines how the lesson is displayed to the users. Here we can hide the title of the question if you want to put the content inside the question name inside the actual question content. Okay. Here are the instructions for the user, meaning you can say you've got so many minutes to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, read the instructions carefully, that sort of information. You can actually give them a video instruction as well. Okay, the pass mark for the lesson, let's say 80%. This is make exam visible. This is the publish option, which means it will be visible to the users when they take it. If this isn't selected, you will get the lesson is unavailable message. Here you can set multiple attempts so that they can 0 means unlimited number of times, and you can set this at 3, 2, 1, which means that they can attempt the lesson one time only. You can set a time limit for the lesson, which will display a counter in the front of the lesson, counting down from this number of minutes and hours. Display from and until is basically the same as publishing, which means that you can make it show to the users or be visible to the users on a certain date and until a certain date, meaning that they can't do the test or do the exam, if it were an exam, after the date, meaning they fail the test, they fail the course. But we're not going to use that at the moment. You can password protect the lesson, meaning they have to get the password from you before they can even access it. Here you can email the results to the teacher when the lesson is finished, each time a user submits the answer. General feedback. Now this will enable the feedback for quizzes. The other feedback options here are for results at the end of the exam, meaning you will show the user the correct answers for the questions they submitted, the submitted answers, and their score. Now, one of the important features here are displaying the questions all at once on a single page or one at a time with next and previous buttons. If you select all at once, you can choose the design of the page that you want on the right. But we're going to go for one at a time. Now, the prohibit backtracking option means the user can't click back and see what they answered already. And then there's the show feedback at the end of the lesson. You can randomize the questions in the lesson so that each time they take the lesson, the questions will be in a different order. Here is the format of select list, meaning A, B, C type options, and you can set the prefix to these types of formats. And finally, the option here is display in full screen or in full editor mode with the browser toolbar and all the normal browser navigation features. Let's click on next now. This is the final step of the creation wizard, where you can import questions from another lesson, or you can finish without importing and then go and manually create your questions. Now, this option is especially unique if you have set repositories, meaning you've created a repository of all your questions and you want to simply create a lesson and take the questions from that repository. Here you would select your repository, the filter would update, and you would choose the questions from that repository. Okay, so we will choose the questions. Okay, but we're going to do this without importing, and we're just going to finish. Okay, we are now on the lesson content tab at the top, where you can see all of the different types of questions that you can create. That would be for another video. Let's just go to the Manage tab and show you what we've created. At the highest level, we've created the certification path. There we go, test CP. As you can see, it's marked as incomplete because there are no questions in there. There are no questions in some lessons, such as lesson 1. This is a really handy little debugging tool to help you understand why it's not visible in the front end. Okay, so we've got a course. We made a test course. There it is here. And we have our lesson. Which is lesson 1. So that's the end of the creation wizard, and the next step would be creating content.